tournament, funnily enough, it was reminiscent actually of what they did in the LEC playoffs. Remember, they had that one series in the upper bracket against G2 that were kind of underwhelming. Then they had the series against Fnatic that was like tooth and nail, like back and forth, both teams going. And then they had the final. It was awesome. So like they had games here. The top esports game, they were fucking dope. They fucking murdered them. Like, remember, this is one thing people don't get. Even though, by the way, it's really embarrassing. Here's the other thing as well, Yamato. The order didn't do KC any favors because it made them look like, oh, they've done a G2 perks. They fucking shit the bed against the no-name team. Like, you know, when they lost like Supermassive. But we didn't know at the time Flying Us is actually really good. Like, we're going to get to them in a minute. They're like a contender for second best team in the tournament, guys, for real. So we'll get to them in a minute. The problem is because KC lost so early, it just made it look like KC shit. Like, first of all, like, that's not the end of the world. Then, but it is embarrassing on paper because that region just doesn't typically get big wins, right? But then you consider they beat in the best of 3 top esports, right? People can meme all they want. I make fun last year, Yamato, of when people used to be like, hey, you remember in play-ins at MSI, Fnatic almost beat TS. It's like, yeah, they almost. They didn't do it though, did they? Like, we all saw, like, they lost the third game, like classic Fnatic style. KC actually won this series. There aren't many, I don't think people appreciate that. That many teams in history. Remember, this is the LPL champions, sort of random, like, 4th seed. There's not many teams in history have won a series off the LPL champions. Like, typically the best European teams ever is what we're talking about. You have to be like Fnatic or Reckless or fucking, you know, like some, I can't say G2 because they always lost the LPL teams. You have to be like a super cracked out team to actually win a match like that. So, like, I do think you saw, here's what's funny. I'm not going to flame them, but I'm not going to overpraise it. I think you saw all facets of KCorp at this tournament, mate. You saw what they're like when, like, as you're saying, when they get kind of caught with their pants down and they don't know where they're at in the meta. You saw by the end, by the way, they were fucking figuring it out. They were getting some really good drafts, some really good play. I think you even saw throughout the tournament, almost every player had their ups and downs. Bro, there was a couple of games early on where Yike was like, what are you doing, mate? There was even a game or two, we criticised it last episode, where I don't even know what Canna was up to. Like, it's like he just decided he was on some bullshit. Like I said, like, he thought he actually was the T1 top laner again. Like, he fucking, I don't get some of his picks, but by the end of the tournament, I thought, actually, by the way, the ones you'd want to have their tournament, Vladdy and Kalist, by the end, did give a very good showing of themselves, and they showed themselves against some of the best players in the world, too. I thought it was pretty good overall. Because you have to remember, listen, I'll never do what the KCorp CEO guy did. No, you cannot describe your team as a bunch of kids with like 3 24-year-olds, you fuck, when one of them was one game from Worlds like 5 years ago or something like that. Those are not kids, but you did have 2 rookies. I'll give you that. Yeah, I think for 2 rookies, this is an amazing performance. Yeah, were you?
Well, I think Vladdy, I feel bad for Vladdy because I think that he's in the shadow of Kalist's hype.
He's not French, let's be real. If he was French as well, mate, his name would be twice as big right now, wouldn't it? Come on. He's mega. He is mega.
We've had so many conversations of baby caps, the replacement of caps, and it's like Vladdy has done the closest thing to it. Like, that in terms of his split play and then also this international. Like, he is so damn good. It's like he has, when he's playing Talia, Azir, Yon, and Victor, I feel like, damn. He's just elite level. Yeah. And I think that's like the main thing. It's like KC have like a limited amount of weapons in like the weaponry. I think like Yike, when he's playing Maokai, Ivan, and like Sejuani, he has like his set few picks that he performs really, really well on. And it seemed like as series went on, and for example, in that HLE series, I'm trying to remember what Yike played in that game 4. That's like always when they run out of steam, they end up on these fucking Draven drafts, you know? It's like from outside, it might seem crazy. It's like, oh, what the fuck are they doing? Like they have lost like 3 crucial games picking Draven blind.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's implied that they must be good on scrims on this, mate, because they've just picked it too many times now. They picked it almost every chance they could in all playoff settings, yeah.
And it's also from that perspective, probably it's like in terms of how it develops. I do think that the final draft against How I Life, it made a lot more sense than the previous ones where they like set up the cannon, they had the Pantheon, they had the Renata as a counter into of course the Gragas support. They actually had like champions that could potentially snowball an early game, but I think the idea of snowballing against How I Life that probably plays some of the best defensive league we've seen in a long time is a tough proposition, but it showcases that KC, in terms of where they're at, in terms of their team development, it's very clear that they are still limited to go a lot deeper. And that's obviously a very big challenge when it comes to Fearless. And these are some of the challenges that like G2 face too, right? It's like they run out of steam. A player like Labrov doesn't have champions. This is just something that teams now have to figure out because Fearless is going to be permanent, apparently. But I think Vladdy, super fucking crazy good player. I think that Kalist had ups and downs, and I respect KC for sticking with Tagamus. because now it's super clear that it just makes sense. I think whenever Tagamas got through lane phase, there was so many moments where he just found like crucial engages, good kind of awareness of what he needs to pick in the game, and the fact that he was a big part of the win against top esports, that they were willing to pivot into the range supports that are more lane dominant. That's something that is so crucial at this tournament in particular. They were willing to pivot into the play the Karma, and contest top esports in the bot lane, which I think was so big in that matchup, because if you want to break top esports apart, is pick a contesting matchup a bot and level 3 gank them, because when JackeyLove and Crisp dies once, they're gonna die again and then die again, and that's just the way it goes. It was the same when Top East was lost to G2. It was like fucking JackeyLove dying level 2 before Tian cleared his camps, and then Top East was just imploded and they died on bottom side. And then of course in the aftermath everyone called Tian a choker, but hopefully at this point Tian haters see it for what it is. You know, I think the main consistent thread, it just seems that JackeyLove is just so, you know, one-dimensional in the way he approaches things, and I love the fact that KC found the opportunity to break them apart. I think Kana as well, it's like the fact that KC picked him up where he was so unwanted, and they managed to find this pivot mid-season last year to find Kana and also closer. I think was a brilliant move, because I'm sure Kana just took a minimum wage contract to just jump in to get his name out there. Yeah. And it was just like the perfect synergy. And now Kana is in the contention of being just a top laner, best top laner in LEC. And I think he had a very solid tournament. Didn't really easily fall to Zeus, who in my opinion is just the best player in the world right now. And I think KC as a whole, like, they're bringing a lot of good shit coming in back to Europe. They should be on paper like the contender, like the number one contender to win the championship, which I have to add is a completely different fucking position to be in. Being the underdog it's way easier to break out when you don't have the same amount of eyeballs. Now there's an expectation for you to perform, and G2 and Fnatic and all these sharks around you are going to view you very differently in terms of how they prepare and what they reveal and how they act. Like, there was a story about how KC got basically G2's drafting strategies through scrims before the finals even started, because G2 maybe took for granted that they're going to be playing against Fnatic in some shape or form. And there's a lot of danger in that, of course. And in the end, it's like now KC are going to play a split with this new knowledge, new information, but everyone's going to fucking pay attention to them in a very different way. It's the same in the UFC, right? It's like getting the championship is way easier than keeping the championship, because everyone's fucking watching you. Like, defending is a whole different game. So I'm curious to see. I'm excited to see the development here.
Yeah, if people don't know, there are, like, if you go to certain weight classes, probably the most notorious, whatever, is light heavyweight at the UFC. Oh, there's a bazillion people have won the belt. There's not that many people have defended it, especially not multiple times. No, I'm with you on that bit. That's actually the thing, if you notice on talk shows, I always give credit to people like G2 and Dylan Falco for in Europe, is, bro, they weren't just winning the split. That means that basically what you have to realize is, since everyone, like you say, puts the spotlight on you and studies everything he does, and in fact, because you're the top team, by the way, they actually assume you're playing the game the most correctly, and they learn from you as well, and they find counters. Because everyone's nerding up like that, it actually means it's totally logical every now and then you should lose when someone finally overtakes you or makes it. So if you don't ever lose, that actually tells me that you as the champion are sort of like shadow boxing yourself and your own flaws, and you're actually finding ways to sort of like level up without being beaten and being forced to level up, which is really hard. So we can get to that in a minute, because I'm with you. That's the real problem for KCorp. It's like they're going to come into the next split thinking like we're number one, and it's like, yeah, but that battle literally continues every match day because you're number one. Everyone's chasing you, like we say. In fact, everyone's in. They've even just watched. Here's another. If I'll use this to make my points, they'll even have seen from this tournament things they can do against you. Like, I'll tell you the first immediate thing I thought as a cynical layman watching this tournament, Yamato, is at the beginning of the tournament, you can see why people were concerned about the whole lack of lane swaps, because actually, all of a sudden, the Kalist lane didn't look as sick because Targamas looked a bit sketch early on, and you thought, fuck, how are they going to even get through these lanes? Remember, you're not playing bombs, you're playing like Viper and JackeyLove and all these players we're talking about. In fact, the joke is, you could actually have made the case, Yamato, the bot lanes in this tournament were some of the strongest on their teams. Even the Doggo guy's a pretty fucking good player that we all remember from years ago when he was on that like PSG talent stand in that one time when they went to the semis of this tournament. So, in theory, all the bot lanes are killers, so you could have been concerned, like, well, what are they going to do here? Well, the good news Joggers, as you say, they got through that point in the game and they will still be effective. But I'll tell you what, Yamato, if I'm any other team in the league, especially the ones with the killer bot lanes like G2 and Fnatic, the first thing I'm thinking is, mate, as soon as you come back to the league, KC, you're getting the fucking Movistar Koi treatment. We're just keeping your bot lane down all day long. Like, this is just ganks it, because essentially, if you ever watch their team, if you can just stop that bot lane ever getting like going and getting rolling, then Alvaro's just like half as good. All his impact just doesn't happen on the map. It's the same thing with Targamas. I can see what they've seen in him, what they want out of him. Like, he does add something clearly, and I'm going to go ahead and guess he must actually. People say his comms have improved. I think they have to have. There's no way he's making all these players blind to me. But I'm with you. It certainly, you still did see like a flaw or a blueprint to beat them. And then if I go back again, the Canna one is wild. That should be for real. Like, I know we don't do this as an award, but that should almost be like the fucking, what do you call
Best
it?
comeback
like,
of all time.
Yeah, like you actually have, by the way, you have this concept in the NFL. It's called comeback player of the year. It's usually for people who are injured, like, you know, somebody who's out for 2 years in injury. If you come back and you play at like an all pro level, you can win this award famously. So like, bro, he should get that, because actually you were being kind. Right now, he's probably one of the best top laners in the world. Like, he'd be like top 10 at least, mate. He might even be like, I don't know, fucking 6th or something. Like, he'd be up there. Like, there's a lot of people who struggle from that position. And as you say, mate, there wasn't like some bidding war. The joke is, if things hadn't gone so badly in, like, it wasn't even your split, it was the one afterwards, in the KCorp last year, this guy would probably be in like fucking Turkey right now, or like LTA South or something insane, wouldn't he? Like, or in PCS or LG. Like, the joke is, or he'd just be on the bench. He wouldn't be playing League of Legends as far as I know. This, by the way, there is no university be at first stand, and he'd be in the final of first stand. Like, that's crazy. But I'm actually glad he got his chance, because as you see, people definitely overlooked this guy. His talent is way bigger. And I'm with you on the Vladdy one. I think you nailed it there, mate. The one person I actually feel mildly sorry for in KC is Vladdy, because, bro, if this guy was French, holy fuck, he'd be like printed on the, he'd be like on the side of the Louvre right now, being projected or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, because I know what you mean. Here's the other thing as well, Yamato. In terms of the two roles, we all know which is more sexy. Which is more sexy? A guy who plays mid lane and can play like Yorn, or a fucking ADC? Your mind. ADC's boring as fuck, isn't it? It's only once they even get more powerful that you even care about them in the game. It's like, I'm with you. The real way you know that, like, the French angle is playing heavily to Calist's favour. He is mega, by the way. Like, he is the next, like, Forgiven, Reckless, Upset, like one of these like mega players who could be made. But I'm with you. We did that Michael Jordan thing where every single vaguely good mid laner, guys, they even did it to fucking Nemesis and Humanoid, even though their style isn't even vaguely like Caps. Every good mid laner, we just go, is he the next Caps? Because we're so desperate for the B1. Vethio, when he's carrying all... We just want to believe there has to be a leader when he comes in with the assassins. But the joke is, none of them ever live up to Caps. We actually have a guy now who, even playing style-wise, is trying to be like Caps. He's even some, like, cocky fucking solo queue player who's trying to smurf on everyone. He's even smurfing on... And we do, and because he's not French, we missed the angle, like, it is the next Caps. Like, we didn't even do that for Vladdy. At the end, we just went, oh, he won a split. Cool. That's actually quite good. I agree, Matt. It's kind of whack, actually. If anything, the Calist angle means Vladdy's probably underhyped. I'm with you, because I also noticed this as well, mate. When I watched all the other shows, everyone I know gives him MVP of the split. Like, they said he basically was the best player in the LEC.
Yes.
I think he actually is probably underhyped at this point, mate. I'm with you.
100%, bro. Like, what he's done is so damn incredible. It's like even in the series that they played against G2, like, Caps threw everything at him. Yep. Everything. Every Tristana angle, every side lane trap, everything. Caps was fucking trying every single trick in the Caps book, and he just fucking bobbed and weaved. He just bobbed and weaved. I think Vladdy is, to me, the most exciting thing that has happened. I think Calist is super, super insane. I think KC as a whole, the fact that they've managed to make a championship team with players that, like, usually it's like super teams are made for a reason. It's like, oh, it's like the usual suspect, the usual names that we see popping up, like the Fnatic roster, for example. That gets excited because it's a known quantity. They managed to do this with, of course, taking Ike from G2 and him finding, like, even a higher peak on this team than he did in G2.
Oh, sure.
And then with players that were not of interest at the time where they got signed by any of the other organizations, which is super, super cool. Vladdy, they found very, very early on, a very young player. Calist, they also, it's like, it was the pivot, because it's like KC, how they pivoted to Calist was basically them not making playoffs in the LFL with Kaori, came from EG, and then you said, okay, we're gonna take this, we're gonna do everything we can to bring Calist over, and then boom, look at this fucking superstar that got hit with the age restriction, because that part is kind of crazy too.
Oh,
it's like it's certain moments in history, like you mentioned yourself, it's like getting 10th back to back kind of would have had a different career altogether. It's crazy how the butterfly effect
you're
of
also
the
right.
KC roster.
People are going to forget now. The Cowrie guy had decent mechanics too, and he was like an aggressive player. Like if he actually was good, maybe you don't even see kills. Maybe they don't gamble on him. Maybe it takes a year longer or something. It's true.